hotshot Filipino 17-year-old player? Really? And Sabrina Ionescu loses her temper and gets mad?
You won't believe what just happened. WNBA star Sabrina Ionescu is getting dragged across the internet right now after a shocking incident at a basketball camp overseas. A 17-year-old Filipino player locked her down on defense, and instead of taking the L, Sabrina completely lost it.
She got mad. You saw that one. It looks even worse. It looks way worse.
The footage is going viral, and fans are calling her out for dirty play, poor sportsmanship, and, let's be real, exposing the skill gap in the WNBA. This isn't just about one bad moment, it's about the bigger picture. The WNBA wants equal pay, but how do you justify that when a top player struggles against a teenager?
Nah, they gotta stop doing these mixed gender games. We got a random in Asia locking up a top WNBA player, but we got bitches like Angel saying they deserve to get paid more.
This is embarrassing for the league, and we're about to break it all down. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around because things are about to get crazy. Let's get into it.
This guy just locked down Sabrina Ionescu. Wouldn't you say she's a top 5 player in the WNBA? This did not go unnoticed by a lot of sports fans.
All right, let's start from the beginning. How did we even get here? Sabrina Ionescu, one of the biggest names in the WNBA, was hosting a basketball camp in the Philippines. Sounds innocent enough, right? But what was supposed to be a simple training session turned into a viral disaster when a 17-year-old local player put the clamps on her defensively.
These WNBA players would get owned by random high school basketball players. We got some high school basketball players that would cremate a lot of these women. I mean, it would be nasty.
The footage shows this high school kid going toe-to-toe with Ionescu, locking her down, cutting off her drives, and making her look completely ineffective on offense.
Sit down and shut up. I mean, seriously. Some 17-year-old Filipino kid just locked down a top 5 or top 8 player in the WNBA.
And instead of shaking it off, taking it as a challenge, or even laughing it off like a true professional, Ionescu's frustration started to boil over. She got visibly irritated and then she lashed out, getting physical in a way that had fans doing a double take. People watching couldn't believe what they were seeing. A supposed top-tier WNBA star, someone who is constantly pushed as one of the faces of women's basketball, was getting locked up by a teenager.
The fact illustrates you don't deserve to get paid like men. The skill level is not there. This is why the league has trouble generating the kind of interest.
And not just any teenager, someone who isn't even a professional, just a high school player. No contracts, no million-dollar endorsements, no elite training facilities, just raw talent and hustle. And let's be real, this isn't a fluke. This just confirms what many people have been saying for years. The WNBA's competition level is nowhere near what the league claims.
She's just mad he wasn't letting her get by. It's just proof that top-tier chicks can't beat an average dude.
Every time a WNBA player faces male competition, even at the high school level, the results are disastrous. And yet, these same players want NBA-level salaries. This moment isn't just bad for Ionescu, it's bad for the entire league.
So he said, I never want to hear y'all compare WNBA players to men again. A random Filipino high school kid in Sabrina's camp is stopping one of the best women player in the world. She gets mad at him because he kept beating her to the spot and she created the contact.
But wait, this is just the beginning. What happened next was even worse, and it left fans completely speechless. Stay tuned, because we're about to expose the WNBA's biggest nightmare. If you thought Sabrina Ionescu getting locked down by a 17-year-old was bad, just wait until you see what happened next. Because this is where things went from embarrassing to downright disgraceful.
And some people are saying that this kid is like one of the best Filipino players that they have. That does not help any arguments.
After struggling to get past the teenager's defense, Ionescu's frustration hit a boiling point. Instead of trying to adjust her game or show some sportsmanship, she took things to a whole new level, getting physical in a way that has fans calling her out for dirty play.
Why the hell did she get that call? Laugh out loud crazy.
The viral footage clearly shows her using her off arm to push off the kid, trying to create space because she simply couldn't shake him.
Sabrina Ionescu, she put on some kind of a basketball camp. Being mad at your own camp is funny. Dog, laughed my ass off. She got clamped and got mad as F about it. She's ass.
When that didn't work, she started making aggressive contact, bumping into him and getting unnecessarily rough, all because a teenager was clamping her up. And here's where it gets even worse. When Sabrina finally lost the ball, she looked straight up angry.
Butt hurt, she's getting locked down and beat to the spot.
The kid did nothing wrong. He was playing great defense, moving his feet, staying in front of her, something any coach would be proud of. But instead of giving him credit, she acted like she was the victim. She gave him a look like, "How dare you stop me?" And then started arguing, making it seem like he was playing dirty, when in reality, she was just getting exposed.
Sabrina Ionescu's a dog. The kid locked her up. Pay these women like NBA players, though. Laughable.
Now let's put this in perspective. Imagine if the roles were reversed. Imagine if an NBA star was playing against a 17-year-old girl at a camp, and when he started struggling, he got physical and aggressive just because she was outplaying him. The internet would go absolutely crazy. People would be calling for his suspension, saying he was bullying a young player and setting a terrible example. But because this is a WNBA player, the media is trying to downplay it, acting like it's not a big deal. But let's be real, it is a big deal. Because this isn't just about one bad moment for Ionescu. This is about the bigger issue with the WNBA. The level of competition, the entitlement, and the fact that these players expect NBA money while consistently showing that the skill gap is massive.
You lost 40, 50 million. You know who would clap for you all sitting out? The NBA. So they don't have to subsidize your dumbasses to the tune of 40 to 50 million a year. Like if I'm an NBA owner, I didn't get rich by wasting a couple million on something that has no chance of making money. These two, sit out. Sit out. See what happens. Now, I would miss watching the Fever. I would miss watching Caitlin Clark, but I wouldn't miss anything else.
And if you think fans didn't notice, think again, because social media erupted after this footage dropped. People weren't just laughing at Ionescu's terrible performance. They were calling out the entire WNBA for pretending like their league is on the same level as the NBA.
I mean, I love her game, but she's using her off arm while getting locked up by some random kid. She's a dog because she was pouting about an unknown Filipino boy locking her down.
But it doesn't stop there, because what happened after the game sent shockwaves through the sports world. And trust me, it's even more humiliating. Let's get into it. If you thought the humiliation ended on the court, think again, because what happened after the footage went viral is even more telling. Instead of owning up to the moment or laughing it off like a good sport, the response from WNBA fans and media defenders has been full-blown damage control. First, let's talk about social media's reaction, because the internet wasted no time clowning this situation. The clip of the 17-year-old locking down Sabrina Ionescu exploded online, racking up millions of views within hours. Fans flooded the comments with pure disbelief, roasting Ionescu for getting outplayed by a high schooler. One comment read, "She wants NBA money but can't even get past a kid." Another said, "Imagine LeBron getting locked up by a random 17-year-old, he'd never hear the end of it." And let's be real, they're not wrong. If this happened to an NBA player, it would be career-ending levels of humiliation. But instead of admitting the reality, WNBA fans and defenders started making excuses. Excuse number one, that kid is an elite player. Oh, so now the narrative changes? Suddenly, this random teenager is an elite talent just because he exposed a WNBA player? If that's the case, maybe high school boys deserve WNBA contracts because apparently their defense is next level. Excuse number two, Sabrina wasn't playing seriously. Really? Because from what we saw, she was frustrated. She was trying hard to score. And when she couldn't, she resorted to physicality. That's not messing around, that's straight up getting exposed. Excuse number three, the defense was too physical. Hold up, so now defense is a problem? This is the same WNBA that constantly argues they play a more fundamental style of basketball. Yet when they go up against actual defensive pressure, suddenly it's too much? You can't have it both ways. Either you're skilled enough to compete, or you're not.
Stupid, arrogance, entitlement, racism, sexism will fly. I, me, I, me, I.
But here's where things really get bad. Because instead of handling this like a professional, Sabrina Ionescu has been completely silent. No response, no acknowledgement, just hoping this whole thing blows over. But the reality is, it won't. Because this moment is bigger than just Ionescu. This is a WNBA problem. This is about a league that demands NBA salaries while struggling to prove they can compete at a high level. It's about entitlement versus reality. And here's the kicker. This isn't even the first time a WNBA player has been embarrassed by a male player. We've seen this before, and every time the media tries to cover it up. But at what point do we stop making excuses and just accept the facts? Well, if you think the WNBA's reputation is bad now, just wait, because we're about to expose the league's biggest hypocrisy. Stick around because this outro is about to blow your mind. So, let's get this straight. Sabrina Ionescu, one of the WNBA's top stars, got completely locked up by a 17-year-old high schooler, lost her cool, got physical, and now the internet is in flames. And instead of taking responsibility, WNBA defenders are out here scrambling to make excuses. But at the end of the day, the footage doesn't lie. This was an embarrassing moment for Ionescu and an even bigger wake-up call for the entire WNBA. The league keeps demanding NBA-level respect and pay, yet time and time again, moments like this prove just how big the gap really is.
If I was funding this league, I'd say, all right, hold on. You got a golden goose. We all got one in Caitlin Clark. These people that are criticizing Caitlin Clark, these people that are hitting Caitlin Clark, these people that are talking as if they are as important as Caitlin Clark are hurting our opportunity. They're hurting the brand.
And instead of working to close that gap, we keep seeing players acting entitled, throwing tantrums, and refusing to accept reality. If you want NBA money, prove you deserve it. Don't just complain, compete. But now I want to hear from you. What do you think about this disaster? Was this just a bad look for Ionescu, or does it expose a much bigger problem in the WNBA? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're at it, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video exposing the truth in sports. That's all for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.